All right, Hampton Roads traffic 4293 Juliet, taking off runway 28 Hampton Roads traffic. Soft field takeoff?
Soft field takeoff, yeah. Let's do 2 notches of flaps.
Oh man, she wants to pop up real quick today.
Yeah. All that wind.
Yep. All right. Oh yeah, she is very windy today.
Yeah. Cool. Good day to work on crosswind landings.
It is a good day for it. This is the part you don't get in a sim.
Right.
I mean, it'll move the plane, but you don't feel it.
Yep. All right, let's take out a notch of flaps.
Trying to stay on heading too. I think we're good for this last one.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Cool, that was good.
Got some documents. We'll get to 1,000 feet. Then we'll do our takeoff. Fuel pump is on. Flaps are up. Don't need that anymore. We're going to 25?
Yes.
1,000 feet. Start heading in a direction. Heading. Now, Hampton Roads is pretty flat. So, like a lot of the dead reckoning, I'm looking for like lakes and towers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or buildings that stand out.
So that's your pilotage?
Pilotage, yeah.
Yeah, your dead reckoning is really just kind of like doing calculations, like fuel burn calculations.
Oh, okay.
Wind drift calculations. That's what your dead reckoning is. But yeah, your pilotage is actually looking down and being like, okay, cool. I got these power lines. This lake is over here. Right, so let's see if I can figure out. And obviously, looking at our iPad, we know exactly where we are because we have the
GPS.
Yeah. But yeah, if you didn't have that, if your location was turned off or whatever reason you couldn't communicate with satellites, you'd be able to hopefully just look down and see some landmarks.
Right.
And triangulate your location essentially. And with that being said, do you see that airport over there?
Suffolk?
Yeah, cool. That is Suffolk. And you know that because you're looking at your map, right? And you're like, oh yeah, off to the left, that's Suffolk. Cool.
Yeah, and I know the area here.
That makes it easy too.
Yep, on the other side down there is Chesapeake.
Yep.
that's where I did my first solo.
Where?
Suffolk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we flew to Suffolk because the winds were better.
Okay, cool. Alright, so once you get leveled out at 2500, we're going to do some simulated Foggles.
Alright.
Or some simulated instrument.
Alright, we are, let's see. There we go. I need you to take the controls while I put the Foggles on.
Okay, before we do that, let's run our cruise checklist.
Alright, cruise checklist, power. We're about 2300
Alright.
RPMs. Full mixture, it's a little bit colder today.
Yeah, so for cruise, do you know how to set mixture for cruise?
So he was, my last instructor was saying on colder days, below standard temperature, we want to leave it at full for this plane.
Okay, yeah.
When I flew with Peter, it was a little bit warmer that day.
Okay.
So we were setting it and we were using the RPMs to determine where we should be.
Yeah, so that's actually the way that you're going to be doing it when you're on long cross countries, right? Because even if it's a cold day, you're actually probably burning more fuel right now than what you really should be, right?
Okay.
And so what I like to do is I'll lean it out until I just see an RPM drop. So like right there, right? And then I'm going to go back in until I'm back at my original RPM. And then I'm going to give 2 turns rich, right? And so, as you can see, we actually kind of lean it out a little bit, and so the airplane is actually burning optimum fuel right now. It's not burning too much, it's not fouling out the spark plugs. It's kind of burning like the optimum amount of fuel.
Gotcha.
Right, and that's what you would do on a long cross country. We're not going very far, so it really kind of almost doesn't matter in our situation, but if you're going like on a long cross country, that's how you would lean out the mixture.
Gotcha.
All right.
I climbed up, that wind pushed me up.
Yeah, it's all good. Alright, what's next on your cruise checklist?
Fuel on a proper tank. And
then
our instruments, which we are aligned here.
Okay.
We're good here.
And then we're green.
Yep.
Alright, good. Alright, so everything's looking pretty good.
Everything's looking pretty good.
Okay, I have the flight controls.
You got the flight controls.
I have the flight controls.
Alright.
Alright, you have the flight controls?
I have the flight controls.
Does your iPad adjust down to where you can see your heading indicator? Because you're going to need to look at that.
Not all the way, but I can move it.
Okay. On your check ride, he's going to be giving you. You're gonna have to do some simulated instrument work.
Okay.
And so he'll be giving you headings. Like I'm actually about to give you a heading. Turn right, heading 270.
Turn right, heading 270.
Yep, and maintain 2,500. And so you'll want to be able to see all your. I know your iPad's pretty big, so it kind of blocks your instruments.
Yeah, it is pretty big.
But yeah, you're going to want to see all your instruments. All right, very good. And we'll stay on 270, 2,500 for right now. And we're just kind of scanning our instruments, looking looking at our attitude indicator, and then our heading, and then our altitude. Very good.
I'm getting off track. Back to my 70. There we go.
All right, let's go ahead and turn right, heading 300.
Turn right, going 300.
Yeah. And our turn will be standard rate. Do you know how to look at your turn coordinator and be able to tell if you're in a standard rate turn?
Does it go to this line right here?
Yeah, perfect.
I always look up here.
What heading did I give you?
300. I'm past it.
Yeah, you're past it, and you're dropping in altitude too.
Yeah.
And so during the turn, you're going to have to keep that scan going of your instruments. Right? So what I like to do is, if I'm turning to a heading, my primary instrument that I'm kind of looking at is my heading indicator, right?
Okay.
Because I don't want to pass that heading. But my eyes are also bouncing over to my attitude indicator, bouncing over to my altitude or my altimeter. And you're descending right now, right? So you want to be
descending.
Yeah. So I think we're not paying enough attention to that altimeter.
Yeah.
So we'll stay on a 300 heading, and we'll come back up to 2,500. So your eyes should be bouncing in between your heading indicator and your altimeter right now.
Every time I've done this, it's been calm.
yeah, it's a little bit more difficult.
It is. Way more difficult.
Yeah, when there's
it's
some
not
bumps.
calm.
Now imagine flying an instrument approach whenever the wind is bumpy like this.
Yeah, see, that's the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, cool. We got back 300, 2,500. Very good. All right, now what I want you to do is we're going to do a complete 360.
Okay.
All right. It's going to be a standard rate turn. So we're starting on a 300 heading, and we're going to end on a 300 heading, right? And we're going to do a left turn.
You said standard?
Standard rate left turn. Now, hold on. Before you start, just keep on going straight, 300. All right, so so during the turn, you're going to have to kind of be looking at this, and that. Or that right there, turn coordinator, right? Because you want to maintain a standard rate turn, right? So the airplane on the little tick mark right there, right? You want to make sure you're not overshooting, right?
Yeah.
Your heading, right? You want to make sure you're holding your altitude, right? And you also want to make sure that...
I'm getting blown all over the place.
Yeah.
Should rudder be taking care of that, or is it aileron?
So if you're getting so rudder is really just going to help you stay coordinated, especially in a turn, right? So
Right.
so you're going to be using the amount of rudder that you need to keep the ball in the center, all right? But really, your ailerons are going to help you stay on your heading.
Traffic Comanche 5492, reporting 28 to the southeast Hampton Roads traffic.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, your ailerons right now are helping you hold your heading. But when there's bad turbulence, it's really, you're just gonna kind of ride the turbulence. Like, you don't have to make abrupt control inputs whenever there's bad turbulence.
Okay.
You're really just gonna, there's not much you can do about how the turbulence affects the airplane, right? So I don't want you to feel like you have to make inputs every time you hit a pocket of turbulence, because you really don't. It's just gonna, the airplane might dip, and but it's gonna return back to where it was for the most part. You'll notice that the reason why most people get off heading is because they're putting way too much control inputs.
That's probably what I was doing.
Yeah, and they're doing that because they think they need to in order to maintain a correct heading for the turbulence, but the turbulence is just it's gonna allow the airplane to come back. It's really just you that would be putting too much input in.
Okay, so yeah, I'm noticing now.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so just whenever you're ready, when you feel comfortable, we're gonna go ahead and start that left turn. All right, and I'm looking for traffic. I don't see anybody, and I'm looking on the screen. I don't see anybody, so we should be good. Now remember, your eyes should be bouncing between 4 different instruments, right? Your heading indicator, your attitude indicator, your altimeter, and your turn coordinator. And just a standard rate turn, so that's a little bit too steep, right? That's not standard, so really, yeah, right there. That's a perfect standard rate turn right there. All right, your altitude is looking perfect. Very good. Your attitude is looking perfect. Your heading is pretty good. Very good. Yeah, just keep on, keep doing this right there. And just keep bouncing your eyes back and forth between those 4 different instruments. Now you're climbing a little bit, so you can, so you can just relax some of that back pressure, and that's going to correct our altitude.
I'm pushing forward. I'm actually pushing forward.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm working my muscles, so I probably need to drop some throttle.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, just a little bit. Just remember, if you pull your throttle out, you're going to eventually have to put it back in.
Right.
So it's actually easier, in my opinion, to make pitch inputs whenever you're in a turn like that. But if that's, you can use throttle too.
Okay.
Yeah, this is looking good. Nice standard. Oh, that's a little bit too steep. A little bit too steep.
I see myself dropping altitude.
Yeah, so when you steepen your turn, you're going to drop altitude a lot. You're going to lose altitude quicker. The steeper you turn, the more back pressure you would have to input to maintain an altitude. So it's actually, that's why we do standard rate turns when you're in the clouds or when you're under the Foggles, is because it's not as, you started at a 300 heading, not a 030 heading.
Okay. 3, and I was like,
yeah, we started 300. All right, good standard rate turn. We're correcting our altitude. That's why I was saying, like, I don't really like to use throttle because what you did, I don't know if you noticed, but you pulled the throttle out, and then you didn't put it back in enough, and so we dropped altitude.
Yep.
So that's why I kind of just like to use pitch changes for my altitude instead of throttle. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's kind of tough, huh?
It is.
Yeah, looking at all the different instruments and doing the right inputs. Okay, cool. So let's get back to 2,500. We'll stay on a 300 heading, and then we're going to do some unusual attitude recoveries. Have you done those yet?
Once.
Okay, cool.
So it was brown kill throttle?
Emirates Trap Command 945.
Yeah, and then if I see blue,
reporting to the southeast Emirates.
push throttle in.
Yeah. Yeah, so an easy way you can remember is if it's in the brown, power down.
Power down,
If it's in the blue, push it through.
Okay, yeah, that's what I didn't remember the saying, but...
Yeah. In the brown, power down. If it's in the blue, push it through.
Trying to get back up to that. Not pushing in too much throttle.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. There we go.
All right, so when you recover from the unusual attitude, like I said, power is going to be first, and then you can correct your attitude, right? So if you're in a left bank, then your left wing is going to be in the brown, right? So you need to just put in some right aileron, and then you can correct your pitch too. You can correct your bank and pitch simultaneously, but the very first thing I want you to do is your power correction.
So when we're powering, are we powering all the way to idle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if you're in like a nose down, like just going towards the ground, you don't want any power, right? You want to pull it back to idle because like all that power is really just taking you down to the ground even quicker. Right? So you want to get that power out, and then you can fix your attitude with bank and pitch.
Okay.
Okay. So I have the flight controls.
You have flight controls.
All right, I have the flight controls. All right, your flight controls?
My flight controls. Down.
So, you're pushing down right now, right? I have the flight controls real quick.
You got the flight control.
All right, so just look at the little circle in the middle, right? See right now it's in the blue. You would push through, right?
Oh, see, I was looking at this wing was in the brown.
Okay. Yeah, so if the wing is in the brown, then you're just gonna put some brightening around. Yeah.
Okay.
So really, what you want, this is a perfect straight and level attitude right there because
Yep.
everything is on that white line, right? So the very first thing I want you to look at is where the circle is.
Where
right?
the circle is.
If
Okay.
the circle is in the blue, you're gonna push the power through, right?
Okay.
If the circle is in the brown, like that, you're gonna bring the power down. Okay. And then you can fix like your wings. Then you can put your wings back on the white line.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead and look down again. Close your eyes.
Such a weird feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Feel like we just did a 360.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
All right. Your flight controls.
My flight controls.
Your flight controls.
Oh man.
Yeah. Good. Power down. Very good. And
Power
then
down.
you can put your airplane on the white line. Perfect. Very good. Cool. Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Do I go back to the designated?
Yeah. Back to your heading and your altitude. Yeah. All right, very good. Let's do it one more time. I have the flight controls.
You have the flight controls.
I have the flight controls. All right, your flight controls.
My flight controls.
Your flight controls.
Power through.
Yeah, very good. Perfect.
All right.
Very good.
We have climbed.
That's
though.
exactly how it's done. Very good.
So now that we climbed, I just got to bring this back down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very good.
And get us back on heading.
And let's turn left to a 230 heading.
Left 230.
Yep. Remember, standard rate turn. Anytime you're in the Foggles or in the clouds, you're going to make a standard rate turn. And bring some of your power out because you're starting to redline the engine.
Come back. Going too far.
230.
Yep, that's what I'm trying to. I went a little bit too far.
On Lima, left downwind 3.
Past 24.
Yeah, so you need to come back to the left a little bit. Standard rate turns, 2,500.
I'm trying to rush the turn.
Oh yeah, just standard rate. Yeah, don't worry about it. You just take your time. Especially so like when you're under the Foggles, you want to take your time with everything because it's really easy to get disoriented. And so the Foggles are they're simulating the clouds, right? So
Right.
that same rule applies. If you ever find yourself in the clouds, just take your time and make everything standard rate, all the turns standard rate, just because it's so easy to get disoriented. All right, and my alarm is going off, so let's go ahead and switch to the left tank. All right, good. And I have the flight controls.
You have the flight controls?
You can take your Foggles off.